Since Game of Thrones captured the world's attention, the phrase "the next Game of Thrones" has been thrown around often by networks aiming to replicate its success. Alongside that, many shows have tried, and struggled, to deliver their own version of the infamous Red Wedding. The brutal massacre of Robb and Catelyn Stark in the Reigns of Castmir remains one of television's most unforgettable moments, shocking audiences and setting a high bar for tragedy on screen. Given the episode's lasting impact, it's no surprise that other series strive to recreate that mix of shock and emotional devastation. Even HBO's House of the Dragon attempted this with its blood and cheese scene, which some called the new Red Wedding. Similarly, shows like The Last of Us, The Handmaid's Tale, and 1923 have drawn comparisons to Game of Thrones' darkest hour. However, most of these attempts fall short of capturing the original's raw power. The reason is simple: the Reigns of Castmir isn't just remembered for its shock value, it's the context that made it unforgettable. This episode sits at the peak of Game of Thrones storytelling, when viewers were deeply invested in its characters and world. The deaths of Robb and Catelyn felt sudden, devastating, and utterly unexpected because audiences had spent multiple seasons growing attached to them. This emotional groundwork is difficult for many newer shows to replicate, especially when their key moments occur early in their runs or with characters audiences haven't fully connected with. In contrast, some recent tragic moments feel less impactful because the audience hasn't had enough time to truly care. For example, The Last of Us Season 2's major death, while heartbreaking, builds on just one season's worth of character development. House of the Dragon's blood and cheese scene shocked viewers, but the characters involved didn't have the same deep emotional ties as the Starks did. Shows like The Handmaid's Tale may match the Red Wedding in brutality, but their impact is different because the violence often targets villains rather than beloved protagonists. Another challenge is the cultural reach. Game of Thrones was a global phenomenon, dominating conversations everywhere. Its Red Wedding became a watercooler moment, a shared shock that resonated across millions. Many newer series simply don't have that broad audience, making it harder for their dramatic moments to become similarly iconic. Ultimately, the Red Wedding's success wasn't just about gore or surprise. It was the culmination of years of storytelling, character investment, and cultural momentum. While many shows strive for the same level of tragedy, few manage to replicate the emotional weight and lasting impact that made Game of Thrones' darkest hour truly unforgettable.